வணக்கம், வெல்கம் டு கலப்பை சேனல். இந்த வீடியோ பாருங்கள், லைக் பண்ணுங்கள், ஷேர் பண்ணுங்கள், மறக்காமல் சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்கள். வணக்கம், I am Bhaskan Krishnamurthy, former income tax officer from Chennai. I keep writing articles in various newspapers and magazines. I am a Gandhian, or I am trying to be a Gandhian rather. This video is about an interview carried by a leading English news daily in its Bangalore edition yesterday, 21 June 2020. It was an interview given by one Mr. Mohan Guruswamy, an economist. The caption says, "Why the Chinese are laughing at us." I just went through the article this morning, and it has got something like 13 to 14 points which need to be answered by us. The economist says the campaign for ban of Chinese articles is partial and impractical. Okay, he has got every right to say whatever he wants to. But what are the points that he has given there in his interview? He says India and China are signatories to WTO, so we cannot enforce any ban on Chinese articles. Okay, that's fine. But we need to ask a question to the economist, Mr. Mohan Guruswamy. If at all he is an economist, I don't know. It is given there in the newspaper that he is an economist. Okay, I believe. On 17th May, the Australian Foreign Minister called for an independent inquiry into the Chinese virus. People call it COVID-19, coronavirus and all, but I still call it Chinese virus. Perhaps this Mr. Mohan Guruswamy may not agree. He has to be loyal to his boss after all. Okay, Australian Foreign Minister called for an independent inquiry into it. The Chinese government retaliated. It was an instant retaliation. The very next day it said, planning to have an 80% tariff on barley imported from Australia, which means that the Australians would be penalized if at all they wanted any inquiry into the coronavirus. This is not directly in violation of WTO agreement. We don't know, only Mr. Guruswamy has to say. But again, Australia did not go back. On 17th May, Australian Foreign Minister spoke about an independent inquiry. On 18th May, Chinese foreign authorities retaliated and said they were going to raise the tariff up to 80% on barley imported from Australia. On 19th May, the very next day, again, Australia and European Union jointly made an attempt to make a global request for an independent inquiry into coronavirus. This again angered China. So they said they were going to stop importing beef from Australia, about imposing 80% tariff on barley. All these things went on, but nothing happened. And around 120 countries came together and they demanded an independent inquiry. This is all happening now. So now the question arises: how can the Chinese government do it when it is signatory to WTO? How it can unilaterally raise the tariff to 80%? How it can say that there will be a ban on beef, on barley imported from Australia? Is it okay? Is it not violative of the WTO? I don't know whether Mr. Mohan Guruswamy knows about it or not. He must be knowing about it, perhaps for obvious reasons. He doesn't want to say anything about it. Okay, this is number one. And number two, he says, about 45% of mobile phones used in India are from China. I don't know where he got these figures from. Again, let it be the balance 55% are coming from somewhere else, so let it be 100% hereafter. What is this problem? We don't know actually. Suppose you want to say no to Chinese products, naturally we switch out to some other product, so it's no issue at all, absolutely. So when he himself says it is only 45% of products from China, okay, let it be 100%. So this is so simple. I don't know why he wants to make a very big fuss out of it. Okay, this is number two. And number three, if Chinese products are to be banned, so naturally it will route it through some other country like Singapore, and in any way it will come to India, so we cannot stop it. And moreover, he says the the wholesaler has got every right to sell. We cannot stop him. We cannot prevent him from doing what he wants to. Okay, this is all fine. There is another argument in the same. If at all we say yes to this economist, then there comes another argument. Illicit liquor is banned. Suppose someone says you just cannot ban it because it may come to the people through some other source, so you cannot ban it. Will it be acceptable to us? And illicit liquor is to be banned. There may be certain shortcomings, there may be certain problems, there may be certain challenges in effectively dealing with it. It is correct, but again we have to do that. Just because there could be some other way of some other way this illicit liquor would come to the market, we should not ban it. We cannot say that. So this argument is very weak. Sorry, I don't know how these economists would come to a conclusion that because it will come through some other country, we should not ban it. Sorry, it carries no sense. The economist says 23% of imports of India are coming from China, so we just cannot we just cannot say no to them because it's a huge amount that is coming from China. It's okay, I can understand. That could be it could not be so smooth for a few days initially, because we need to import these articles from somewhere else, or we need to produce ourselves. We have to we need to go for manufacturing things ourselves. It will take some time. We do agree. There would be some sort of disruption. Nobody denies that. But it is all worth taking this disruption. It is all worth taking this risk. It is all worth taking this challenge, because after all, we are going to eliminate an enemy who is doing more harm to us than any help. Naturally, he cannot do any help to us. Of course, except for people like Mohan Guruswamy, who could be paid. I'm not sure. So otherwise, we don't see any meaning, any sense in carrying on with these Chinese products. Moreover, it is only a social boycott, and I don't know why Mr. Mohan Goswami gets disturbed over it. It's a social boycott. We are going to tell people not to buy Chinese products. It is always there. It is very much a Gandhian way of doing things, and I don't know what is the problem with him now. As I said earlier, perhaps the reason is very obvious. Perhaps he wants to be loyal to his boss. It's okay. But again, we cannot call it partial or impractical. It's going to be very much practical. And he says China is not going to lose anything at all. Absolutely, it is again a trash. See, China needs Indian market. No one can deny that. And he himself says actually 23% of our imports are coming from China, which means that China exports so much to us. So they want this exports. And it is not India alone which is going to boycott Chinese products. Take it from me, it is going to be USA very shortly. It is going to be European Union very shortly. It is going to be Australia very shortly. It will be the case with South Korea very shortly. All these people are going to boycott. How long are you going to say no? We don't want your business. It will not affect China. In fact, he is doing more disservice to his bosses than we people. It cannot be like this. China survives only because of its exports to other countries. If hypothetically I tell you, if all the countries decide to boycott the Chinese products and they don't want to entertain anything, they don't want to entertain any Chinese products anymore, I tell you, Chinese economy is going to be doomed. It is once for all. It will see an instant collapse. Take it from me. Mr. Morgan Goswami can try to build up so much for Chinese economy. Again, it cannot withstand. It cannot withstand a global embargo. No, it can never withstand. Suppose we say no to Chinese products, and actually it is going to lose so much of exports. Similarly, there will be similar demand from South Korea, from Australia, from European Union, from America, from so many other countries as well. I don't think any economist can say like this. No. Suppose you say you don't want to import anything from China, they are not going to. It's not going to be a big concern for China. It just cannot be. In fact, Chinese economy thrives more on its exports. It is not as indigenous as ours is. Our Indian economy is so strong. It's so indigenous. We can survive without any import or export, without having any trade link with any other country. But that is not the case with China. And moreover, what we export to China is more important. We are exporting raw materials to China, whereas in turn Chinese are exporting finished products to us. So it is anybody's guess what will happen. Suppose we don't export our raw materials to China. Their exports will be hit, and even their domestic needs will be hit. Domestic market would be very badly hit. They need to take raw materials from other countries, then they manufacture things and sell finished products. So it makes no sense when he says China is not going to be affected at all. Suppose we are going to have a ban on Chinese products. It just cannot be. The next one is active pharmaceutical ingredients. Many people say this actually. We import so many billions from China, and so we will not be able to do it, and we will not be able to manufacture it because these factories cause a lot of pollution related problems. All those things. It's not correct. As I said earlier, there will be a disruption, there will be a problem at the initial stage. Perhaps we will be able to do it ourselves, or we may, some other country will take it, some other country will start manufacturing it. We will get it from there. So it is not the right answer. No, it is not the, this is not the right argument. Yes, we procure so much from China, mainly because nobody else is doing it. Nobody else is doing it mainly because China is doing it already. Nothing else. It is not that we are incapable of doing it. We feel it is more convenient to import than producing ourselves. Suppose a situation arises where it is not at all advisable to import from China. Naturally, we are going to find out some other avenues. We'll work for something else, and then naturally we'll start producing ourselves, or some other country will start doing it, and then we'll import from them. So what is the big fuss there? Actually, I do understand that we import so much from China, but that should not be the only point for to say something against the the demand for ban. The demand for ban actually comes comes from people automatically, spontaneous. He refers to a particular organization which I don't want to name, but again he says actually because he has an obsession towards it. We can understand, because once he is attached, once he is more attached to some other country, naturally he has to have some obsession towards these nationalist movements, naturally. So I don't want to name the organization D as named anyway. I could see. So this is the problem with all these so-called economists who have the left lenience. So naturally, whether it is left or right, we are not bothered. After all, we are trying to be Gandhians. We are not either tilted towards left or right. But the very argument that he puts forward is something really, something which we just cannot endorse. We have to oppose, in fact. It is ridiculous to say that actually we cannot do it because we are already importing. We just cannot do anything about it. The Economist in his interview says the Chinese workers are working in 10-hour shifts every day, and they are so hard working. And he has given illustration also. There he is giving an example. He says iPhone wanted to launch a globally, and then Steve Jobs wanted to change the screen in 48 hours. So the Chinese, some 20,000 workers worked for 48 hours continuously, and they could do it. All these things. Okay, all this blah 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 is there actually. It is very much possible everywhere in any part of the world. I don't know why he thinks it is not possible in India. I don't know. So these are the things actually that we don't expect from an economist. Suppose there is a need, naturally everybody will rise up to it. Naturally, when there is a call for it, naturally people will rise. Actually, leave alone private industries, even the government machinery, even the government departments. Actually, every time, whenever there is a dire need, to come to the streets and do something, and then naturally these people are coming there and they are doing actually. So of course we have got so many other complaints against the government machinery, but not this one. Whenever there is a need, whenever there is a situation, our people really rise up to the occasion. They have never failed. I don't know why he thinks actually it is not possible in India. I don't know. It is natural. Naturally, suppose there is a health hazard, suppose there is there is a serious pollution challenge. Naturally, people will rise along. Naturally, and we have to answer. So just because suppose someone says it is threatening, it is life threatening one, and there is so much of danger of a cancer and all those things. Naturally, we have to address these issues. So he says India is a useless country. Indian workers cannot do. I don't know why people are so pessimistic about our own country, because perhaps actually again and again I don't want to repeat it actually, because see, when your loyalty switches from your country to some other people actually who are who pay, so naturally all these things crop up. So this is not so. In fact, Indian workers are really as efficient as anybody else in the world. I can vouch for it. So there is something much about it. This economist says we need a 10-year plan, and we don't have a leader with vision. I don't know. Perhaps he wants to directly attack Modi. Okay, let him do it. Okay, he has got every democratic right, and let him say actually. But how can he say that there is no leader in India with a vision? I don't know actually. But of course, we have got economists like him who can do all these disgraceful acts for us. So this is the problem in India. And whatever he says is not only a fabricated truth. There are certain truths which have not been given there. Actually, he is not ready to come out with full facts. India is exporting raw materials to China, and the balance of trade says actually it is always in favor of China. We have got around our total worth of bilateral economic relations. It is worth actually the bilateral economic transactions are worth $84 billion. It's bilateral, $84 billion, and of these, our imports amount to $68 billion. Our exports are only $16 billion. Our exports from here to China amount to $16 billion, and our imports from China amount to $68 billion. You see the equation, 16 is to 68. 16 is our export and 68 imports from China. It is largely in favor of China. And who will be the losing partner, you tell us? I am asking this Mr. Morgan Guruswamy. He says China is not going to lose anything at all. It's again an absolute trash. How can it be? The balance of trade is largely in favor of China. Again with US, again with European Union. It is always in favor of China. Suppose these countries do not want to entertain China anymore, who would be the bigger loser? So you don't need to be an economist again. But he says China is not going to be affected at all. I don't know. Of course, he wants to console himself, perhaps. That could be his idea. But finally, he concludes with a particular sentence which is really very, which is truly offending to every citizen of India. He says, China has a genuine contempt for India. It's given that in an interview. He says, China has a genuine contempt for India. And they are laughing at us at the call for a ban of Chinese articles because it is not going to take place. That's what he says. They do not take place. It is impractical. They do not take place. So the Chinese are laughing at us. So because of this, the Chinese have a genuine contempt for India. It is left to all the Indians over here who are watching this video to see how correct this is. High time we develop a very genuine contempt for these fake economists, these fake Indians. Whatever they say is fake. After all, they are the paid coolies, nothing else. So let us keep it in mind. When the Chinese can have genuine contempt for India, naturally we can have a genuine contempt for these fake economists as well. Always.